he had anything done with his knee in the offseason.
Excited to see him against Golden State. It's kind of a tough entry point, like champs and everything.
No, I mean, he knows how to play basketball. I mean, this is basketball. You know, and I think it's going to be exciting for him just to get back on the floor. That's just most important.
How about you? I mean, it is only preseason, but it is Golden State too.
It's preseason. It's just another game. You know, I don't think what we do tomorrow, and I don't think what they show tomorrow will be the teams that will be come January, February, March, April.
Ron, do you feel any extra bond with Lonzo because of the scrutiny he's under or has been under in the league so far, and what you went through in your rookie year, both being hometown guys and that sort of thing?
I think in the simple fact that, you know, you get drafted to a franchise that wasn't, you know, as successful as they would like to be. Obviously, they had way more success here in the past before he was drafted than we had in Cleveland ever. So I'm not comparing the two franchises, but, you know, when you're drafted that high and you're a local kid, people have seen you grow your whole life, so they expect you to be great every night. So, you know, in that sense, I can understand.
Does it take a certain mentality to be able to play at home in front of?
I don't know. I just know my mentality. Can't speak for everybody's mind and everybody what they do. It didn't matter if I was playing home or not. I love the game. I'm true to the game. I work my tail off, and then you see what happens. I think the greatest thing for me is I got to be in front of my friends and family every night. Get to go home to the same crib and walk the same streets that I was comfortable with, you know, my whole life. So that was pretty unique.
Is that something you two have talked about?
His streets was a little bit further than mine. I heard Chino was a little bit further than Akron and Cleveland, so that's what I heard. Yeah, it's a totally different situation.
With you and Kevin Durant on the court tomorrow night, I was hoping you could tell us how that rap song came together and what you thought when it was finally released.
We're both hip-hop guys who love hip-hop and love, at that point, getting things off our mind, just having fun with it during the lockout. And we spent a lot of time training in the off-season, so we had some downtime during our training sessions, so that's what happened.
How'd you feel about the end result?
It was okay.
With your younger teammates, do you pick up any pop culture stuff from them, like being around music or movies, stuff that you maybe wouldn't normally be in your atmosphere?
No, not really. It's the same thing that they listen to, the same thing my 14-year-old listens to. So I get it all at home with my 14 and my 11-year-old. So you know, everything that they listen to or watching these days, my 14-year-old, my 11-year-old watching as well.
What does that say about them?
It doesn't say anything. It's the time, that's all. I got very mature 14 and 11-year-olds. Yeah. My 14 and 11-year-olds drink wine.
Really?
Yeah, that's how mature they are. They'll be driving next week too.
White, red?
Whatever dad's and mom's having. Put it on me though, don't put it on mom. Dad, put it on dad.
Yeah. I had a picture with him doing that and me laughing, bro. My eyes were like, look, put it side to side. Put it side to side. You have, I don't have a pic. I don't have the one picture though.
I'm saying do it right now.
Oh, me and your face right there.
Oh man.
Oh my god. Have you been in for Halloween ever?
I mean, I wasn't the face of the franchise. They made that very clear. I mean, I was just a great piece in Cleveland, which I gratefully accepted. With here, you know, those guys, their relationship it's going to be what they make it, honestly. I mean, it's a competition between the folks, obviously. Like, so, you know, you just want to see them, like, go at each other in practice and then make that translation into games. You know, if you're going at one of the best wings in the league every single day, like, it should only help you. It's good to see him go at it.
So even when you were drafted, you didn't feel like before LeBron got you didn't feel like you were going kind of the face?
No. I was just a great piece. Great piece. They weren't giving me the keys to like that. They weren't. I was too young, man. I didn't deserve them, you know what I mean? So, but after a while, I felt like I earned it after a while, and I took a lot of that responsibility on myself. Still wasn't ready to do it, but learned a lot from that point to be at this position now.
How hard was it for you to, at that point in your career, Kyrie, LeBron's lieutenant?
Lieutenant?
Yeah. Like,
What do you mean?
well, next to Charles.
Oh, next to Charles?
Yeah.
I didn't really see it as that, man. I honestly just saw it as a point in my career which I needed to learn and grow, honestly. I mean, I took as much knowledge as I could and I moved on with my career. So from that point, I think I learned a lot about myself and how much of a competitor I am. And I think that the biggest thing is when I see the young guys that we have here is, and I say it as I'm not a young guy as well, but the experience component, I had to learn a lot about the game of basketball, like being with Ron and being with Mike Miller and James Jones and being around the veterans like that. It was the first time I went from being one of the youngest to being one of the oldest. So, whether it was a lieutenant, sergeant, whatever you want to call it, to Bron, I think that being around him and his basketball knowledge, as well as all the other veterans that complimented us at that time, was something I needed, because I was a fourth year in, just signed a $90 million contract. I'm thirsty for everything, and for the most part, I've just been taught, roll out the ball and go play. So that was the first time I actually had to watch film and get ready for the playoffs and learn what it's like to be competed against rather than competing we now became the hunted, and I think that's the biggest change that you're going to see, is that our effort has to surpass other teams' talent and effort at times, and that's going to distinguish us from other teams.
Kyrie, with defensive switching, with defense.
Clay's in his own world, so I don't think anybody could think it really matters.
Can you tell us a little about what you got going on?
No.
Michael was tired of taking the physical abuse from the Detroit Pistons and wanted to start a strength and conditioning program, but he was afraid to lift any weights because he didn't know what the effects were going to be on his game. And I actually contacted the team physician and the athletic trainer at that time, met with both of them to explain my philosophies, and they introduced me to Michael. And Michael said, we'll try it out for 30 days, and 30 days turned into 15 years. Michael's mindset into training was extremely unique. I mean, the most competitive individual I've ever met, never wanted to lose at anything, always felt like somebody else was going to outwork him, so he wanted to outwork them. Knew what his weaknesses were, knew what his strengths were. He had a big thing where he used to say, hey, listen, I'm going to turn my weaknesses into strengths, and he did. And what you notice is every year there was evolution in his game. There was something that he added, whether it was a new shot, a new move. He was never satisfied, no matter how many championships, how many titles, what people said, how many accolades he got, he always wanted to get better. Most practices have the starting five on the same team. Practices where Michael's at, they always had Scotty on the other team because Michael wanted to go against the best defender and the best player or the second best player on the team. He never played down to the level of his competition. He always found a way to motivate himself. If he knew in a certain game that he could score real easily, he'd say, well, I'm going to go get some more rebounds, I'm going to go get assists. He had no weaknesses in his game, And so he did whatever the team needed to win. I think the key components to that mindset is once he stepped between those lines, nothing else mattered. That was his safe haven. Nobody could get to him. He was able to perform in front of millions of people, and he never wanted to let them down, but he practiced extremely hard, which made the game very easy for him. From so much practicing of all the different aspects and understanding film and the other players and what their tendencies are and being so well prepared, he always had the edge over his competition. What the young athletes can learn from Michael and his mindset is there's more to preparing for a basketball game than just the dribbling, shooting part of it. There's knowing what the weakness and strengths of your opponent is, what the opposing team is, what your players are capable of doing, what they're not capable of doing, what you can do to enhance their abilities. It's a job. Okay? It's a job just like every other one, and the more you're prepared for it, the better you will be at it. But preparation takes hard work, and it takes sacrifice that you have to do.
This here with all the ice on in the booth. At the gate outside, when they pull up, they give me loose. Yeah, jump.